Season 5 is upon us, and we have new weapons. The ShAK-50 is the new AR that is on the heavy class. Now, the unique thing about this is it actually shoots 2 bullets per round, so those 20 rounds actually mean that you get essentially 40 bullets. And I've also seen a lot of takes online, some people saying that it's really weak and it needs a buff, some people saying that it's really strong and needs a nerf. So let me break down the stats of the weapon, and then we're going to compare it to some other weapons on the class and see where it stacks up in the meta. So let's get right into the base stats here. So for the body damage, we get 30, which is actually 15 times 2. For the headshot damage, we're getting 45, so we're getting a 1.5x. The rate of fire is at 420, nice. And then we have the magazine size at 20. This gives us a damage per mag of 600, which is rather low for the class. The reload time ranges from 320 to 240. Now let's compare this to other options on this class. The SA-12 has been the most dominant weapon on the class for basically the dawn of time. So when we look at body damage here, we get 78. There's no headshot multiplier. The rate of fire is 200, so about half the ShAK. The magazine size is 16, and the damage per magazine is 1248. So more than double the ShAK's damage per mag. And the reload time is actually around the same, but just slightly off. And we also have to consider that there is a delay after a 4-shot burst. The next weapon I want to compare is the Lewis gun. So the Lewis gun has a body shot damage of 22, headshot damage doing 33, the rate of fire is 500, magazine size 47, and damage per magazine is 1034. And when we look at the reload time, it is a little bit slower on both ends here. And since the KS-23 did get some changes, we're going to throw in the comparison here. However, the reload times are a little bit tricky because while the speed did get faster, there are situations when you're reloading from empty mag, you're just reloading 1 to 2 shells. It can kind of vary, so that's why I'm not really putting the reload time. But we do have 100 damage for the body, 73 RPM, 6 rounds per mag, and we also have 600 damage per magazine. Now let's get into comparing the time to kill for all of these weapons. So as you can see, the ShAK-50 is at 0.57 when facing lights, 1.14 when facing mediums, and 1.57 when facing heavies. Now these time to kills are actually very, very good. These actually beat a lot of the medium weapons. This actually kills faster than the FAMAS in every category, so definitely something to consider. Now when we're looking at the SA-12-16, which has been the reigning champ on this class, we get 0.3 when facing lights, 0.9 when facing mediums, and 2.0 when facing heavies. And this is taking into consideration that we have to cycle after 4 bursts. When looking at the Lewis, we're at 0.72 versus lights, 1.32 versus medium, 1.8 versus heavy. And on the KS-23, we get 0.82 versus light, 1.64 versus medium, and 2.47 when facing heavies. So as you can see, the ShAK-50 is definitely going to be a very strong contender for being a very viable pick on the class. Not only does it have really good TTKs here, but it is one of the few weapons that we see in the meta, such as the KS and the SA we've seen in the tournaments and stuff. But the ShAK-50 actually has a headshot multiplier, meaning that it can kill even faster than the times here. Now, the big caveat to this is that it shoots 2 bullets at the same time, meaning that you do have to be within a specific range in order to hit that. And if you slightly hit their arm or something like that, one of the bullets more than likely is not going to be hitting, which means this actually drastically lowers your TTK. When you're facing somebody at long range, this gun just doesn't really feel as impactful as something like a Lewis gun or maybe even the 50 Akimbos. So let's go ahead and look at the range here and see how it stacks up to the others. So for the ShAK-50, we have 15 to 25 meters is the fall off range when it starts and ends, with a damage modifier at the end of about 67. The SA-12 is 10 to 15 with the same modifier. The Lewis gun is 35 to 40 with the same modifier. So this is where the Lewis gun definitely shines at those longer ranges. And then we get the KS-23, which is 18 to 23 with roughly around the same modifier. So as you can see here, the range stats are pretty low for a full auto weapon here, almost as low as the SA-12. So when playing this weapon, you really do have to play up close. I feel like the overall playstyle of this weapon is meant to feel like an SMG. You're supposed to get in close and fully burst them down, but you're not meant to sit back and just beam people. I find that this combos quite well with something like the mesh shield, maybe even the winch, so that you can get right in someone's face and then unload. So you're basically playing like an SA-12 playstyle, but you want to sit just a little bit further back than the SA-12, because if you are facing another SA-12, they're just going to beat you if you get up right in their face. But if you find that sweet spot, maybe around, 10 to 15 meters, like the weapons range fall off is, you're going to have a lot of success. So this takes a lot of positioning skill to utilize. So I feel like if you have not been having much success with it, it's more than likely because you're just sitting too far back, or you're just getting right in people's faces like the SA-12, and it might not be working out quite as well. So I think this weapon is actually pretty well balanced. I think the 2 bullets per round definitely allows it to have a little bit more of a balanced feel. I feel like if the bullets were right on top of each other, then we would probably have an issue here. But since they are spread out, this actually really forces you to be in a closer range. So I think the developers have done a fantastic job releasing this at a state that I think is quite balanced. Now for my recommended loadout, this is what I use on it, which is the mesh. I find the mesh with the changes has allowed me to utilize this a lot better. Being able to juggle really brings back the skill gap to it, and it allows you to provide cover for your team. I really like it. Makes you a force to be reckoned with and allows you to get right up and close to people, which is what you want with this weapon. Next, we are going to be bringing the RPG to combo with this class. I feel like RPG kind of works on every single heavy class, so not much of a surprise here. Next, we have the C4 in order to play for drop. Being able to defend your cash out with C4 is really, really useful. Next, we're going to bring the Dome Shield. Dome Shield, I feel like, again, is one of those universally used gadgets. It's absolutely amazing, and it allows you to play within these close ranges a lot better. Being able to kind of juggle between your mesh and your dome and just be able to kill people while sitting behind cover is obviously going to be very, very strong. Now, some alternatives would be to bring in a barricade instead of the C4 if you find that your team is already good at playing for drop, if they have a DMAT, or if they have breach charge, or if there's another heavy with C4 or something like that. Bringing in the barricade will allow you to play around cover. Now, since you have to reload this gun quite frequently, I find it's really good to have that barricade. So this could be something that you just mainly put on. And then obviously bring in whatever extra gadgets that you think might combo well with you. Feel free to try out the new smoke or something like that. But the basic loadout here that I've given you is a really good starting template in order to build something that works and suits you. Thank you if you made it this far. Feel free to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the future finals content that I'm making. I'm going to be trying to make more guides and stat videos, so be sure to stick around for those whenever they drop. Thank you to all my members. It's relatively cheap to become a member. I do have a show of appreciation one if you guys want to help me out. I run this whole thing, so I do all the designing, all the editing. I've done my own logo, branding, streaming. Everything is just kind of independent, so this does take up a good amount of my time, and I also do work a full-time job. So any bit of appreciation, like joining as a member or subscribing on Twitch, just means the world to me. But obviously, feel free to enjoy it free if you want. The fact that you guys are viewing it, already pretty sweet. So have a good day. Start using the ShAK-50, and I will see you in the finals.